What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and in today's video, I'm gonna share with you the best investment that a poor person can ever make. I'm also gonna talk about how this is the best investment that anyone can ever make. I'm gonna share how I made over $350,000 with an extremely low barrier to entry in just 4 years. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, if you're new to the channel, I've had the opportunity to invest in a lot of different stuff. However, I'm so excited about this video because I believe this is the one investment that absolutely every person on the planet should and could make. I also promise that it's not going to be a gimmicky video. We're not going to be talking about crypto or NFTs or a myriad of other things where you can get rich quick. I'm going to talk about something that's been around a long time. However, a lot of people don't understand how it works or that it's super simple and cheap to invest in. The only thing that I ask you to do is remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And let's just jump into it. Before we do, I've kind of got to set the groundwork. You first off need to understand that historically, everything has gone up in value. Now, if you're gonna invest in the stock market, one thing that a lot of people look at is the S&P 500, for example. If you hop on and say, all right, what has the S&P 500 made consistently over the last, 50 years? It says the index has returned historic annualized average return of around 10.5% since 1957 inception through 2021. So over a 10% return, that sounds pretty good. So you could put your money in the S&P 500. You could also have invested in crypto and your money would have gone up very fast. And then as we've seen the last couple of months, down very fast. You can also see in the stock market, there are lots of people right now that are pretty distraught because that's also dropped pretty quickly. But overall, everything consistently goes up in value unless it doesn't. But seriously, when you look at food, when you look at rent, when you look at housing, all of these things have consistently gone up in value. Now, we could dive into inflation and the role that the government plays and the myriad of other aspects that come into play. However, in general, let's just come to the understanding that everything consistently gets more expensive. Had you purchased food 50 years ago and then tried to purchase the same food today, it's gonna be drastically more expensive because your dollar has consistently become worth less. $1 50 years ago bought a lot more than $1 buys now. One thing in particular that has gone up drastically, even more quickly than inflation, is rent. If you watch my channel consistently, you know that I'm a landlord and that I own a lot of rental properties. And so your guess might be that I'm going to say that the best investment is to invest in rental properties. However, you would be wrong. Kind of. Now, talking about investment properties or being a landlord immediately triggers a lot of people, as you can see if you look at the comments of the majority of my videos. And to be honest, this is understandable because I think a lot of people believe that landlords somehow could control the inflation when it comes to how it affects rents because they purchase a property and a lot of people think, hey, you're gouging us, you're making way too large of a return, you're taking advantage of us with all of these fees and all of these penalties and all of these other things, when if you would just be reasonable, if you would just fix stuff on time, if you would just take care of your tenants, landlords wouldn't have such a bad reputation. And if you look at this chart, you can understand why people would be super frustrated with landlords just because of the price aspect, because rents have gone up a ton. According to this report, it said that over 20% year over year at one point in 2021, the highest spike on record. And I'll tell you, between 2021 and 2022, it was probably just as bad, if not worse. This left a lot of people saying, hey, there's no way landlords' expenses went up that much. They must just be taking advantage of people. Now, to some extent, this might be true. Other landlords might argue that there are more rules, more restrictions, more expenses, more taxes. And if I'm honest with you, I can kind of see the argument on both sides, being a landlord, but also seeing how astronomically expensive rent has become, especially over the last couple of years. I want to talk about a couple points involving landlords. A lot of tenants will say, oh, landlords are horrible. They're just raking in money, sitting on their butts, doing nothing. However, you've kind of got to look at a landlord's perspective as well. Landlords have to take on the liability of everything with the property. They've got to make sure that it stays maintained. They've got to deal with crappy tenants. They've got to deal with gnarly evictions. They've got to deal with repairs, with expenses, with all of the liability, with rent control and rent restrictions, and all of these lease laws on what you need to do to be fair with all of the tenants that come in that want to lease your properties. There is a long list of different restrictions and rules and all of these other things. Now, I'm not complaining. I believe that being a landlord through investing in real estate is probably the second best investment. Actually, 100% the second best investment you can make, even with all of these rules and restrictions, because there's so many benefits that come from being a landlord. Now, if you've hung around this long, you're probably saying, okay, Chandler, we've heard you complain about the negatives of being a landlord. You've talked about inflation. What are you getting at? What is the best investment that a poor person can make? And the honest answer is the best investment that any person, but especially a poor person, can make is investing in their own home. Think about all of the benefits that come from owning your own home and living in it. First off, you get way more beneficial loan terms. Instead of having to put 25% down, you can put as low as 3.5% down to be able to own a property. You also aren't worrying about all of the rules and regulations and everything else that comes with dealing with a tenant. You don't have a tenant that's going to destroy your property. You don't have a tenant that you might have to evict. You don't have a tenant that could do who knows what to your property or you out of frustration because you are that third party that's involved. On top of that, if you own the home and you're renting it, you cut out that third party that needs to make some form of return, which means you're going to save money. Now, people don't think this through, but when you own a home, you've got a monthly payment. If you owned that as a landlord, not only would you have worse terms, but you would have to make some form of profit above that. So if you're purchasing a home and your monthly payment's going to be $1,500, if you're a landlord and you're purchasing multiple units or that same home, you might not only have a bigger payment and different liability when it comes to paying additional insurance and additional taxes because you don't get the homeowner's exemption, but you also have to make some form of profit above and beyond what you're paying every month. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense as an investment. This means as a homeowner, not only are you going to pay less every single month than a landlord would, but you're not having to deal with all of the negatives that a landlord has to deal with. This is what's so crazy to me about people complaining about, oh, landlords suck, they're buying up all the housing, they're doing this, that, and the other thing, they're taking advantage of me, they're screwing me over by increasing rents. Well, if you buy, you cut out that third party, and you can do it at a much greater discount than the landlord can. All of my properties, I've had to put at least 20 to 25% down to even get a loan on the property, where you could do it for 3.5%. And in some situations, depending on your circumstances, the government's even provided you with a lower down than that. You also don't have to worry about a balloon payment or the rates changing every 5 years. You can get a 30-year fixed loan at the best interest rates possible because you're living in the home. You also get an exemption on your taxes. And so the benefits that come with living in a home are absolutely crazy. Now, here's where it gets nuts. Historically, appreciation on a home has averaged 3.9%. But as a lot of you know, because of how crazy inflation is right now, it's been way higher. In some markets, you've had as high as 20% appreciation on a property. The other thing that's crazy about this is not only do you get to control and maintain the property, and not only do you know that historically it's gone up in value, but you have access to more leverage and good leverage than you could on anything else. If you look at the stock market, you look at buying a car, you look at getting debt on anything else, where else can you get a 30-year fixed loan where your rates and terms aren't going to change? Now, a lot of people say, oh, that scares me to get into that kind of a commitment. Well, here's the deal. You know every single year that rents have gone up. You could go and buy a home and guarantee that your payment is going to stay the same as it has forever. For 30 years, you can lock in your payment. Now, taxes might adjust, but again, there's no way your taxes are gonna go up faster than rents have gone up because landlords have to pay more in taxes on their properties and they have to make more than their mortgage off of their tenants, and any laws or restrictions or rules or anything else, those just cost them more. Inflation costs them more, everything costs them more, and they need to make a profit. Otherwise, it's not a good investment. The reason that this was spurred on is I bought a home 4 years ago for $420,000. I was paying my payment every single month and getting principal pay down. And over the course of 4 years, I had over $50,000 of principal pay down that I was able to get back into my home. Now, by paying off that loan, that's just equity. That's like putting money into a bank account that's part of my payment. And when landlords buy a property, they just count that as an expense in their brains. They want to get above and beyond their interest and their principal pay down. However, that principal pay down is part of an investment. So that's another benefit you get of home ownership, where it's equity into your home. So after 4 years, I turned around and I sold the property that me and my family lived in, that we loved, that it was absolutely incredible being here because it was a perfect house for us and our family and our situation. We didn't have to deal with a landlord. We didn't have to deal with all of the negatives that come with dealing with the landlord. And we now sold our property and cashed out $280,000 in profit, on top of another $50,000 plus in principal pay down, on top of the fact that all of the interest that we paid, we got to take that off of our taxable income because that's what the government says we can do. On top of the fact that that entire profit, because it wasn't over $500,000 and me and my wife are married and that's the rule, we don't have to pay any money on that profit, which means it is a way better investment than anything you could buy being a landlord, than any investment that you could make. And so I'm gonna dive into the numbers and help you understand, but we're talking 100% return plus every single year on your investment in a home. Right now, the median home price in 2022 is $428,000. And if you're getting into that home and you're living in it, you can get an FHA loan, which means you have the ability to put down 3.5% to be able to purchase this home. I'm gonna run the numbers with a 5.8% interest rate on a 30-year AM, which is a way higher interest rate than we've had the last couple years, but that's the going rate. I just want you to understand, even at the going rate right now, it is an incredible investment for you to purchase your own home rather than renting from a landlord. And it's a better investment than any other place you could put your money, not only because you get a home out of the deal, but because of the numbers behind it. This is gonna put your payment at $2,600. Now, keep in mind, this is for like an actual house, probably 3 or 4 bedrooms, very nice neighborhood. You could buy way less to match if you're renting way less. I promise you, you can find a house of the same or greater quality for less than you're paying in rent. I promise you it exists. But if you look at this, you start off with principal of $614 every single month. Over a 5-year period, that goes up to $815. So if we take in between there, let's say you're making just over $700 in principal every single month. That means in just principal pay down on your home, you're getting upwards of $45,000 to $50,000 of money that you would have been paying for rent. It would have just been leaving your bank account that now is going into the bank account that is your home. It's creating equity in your home. So you've got $50,000 over a 5-year period just with your principal pay down. At a 3.8% appreciation over 5 years, that's gonna leave you at $86,000 plus that your home value is gonna go up. Now, if you've been following the market, you know that some years have not been 3.8%. They've been upwards of 10, 15, 20%. And that's how over this 4-year period, why I owned my home, I absolutely crushed it because home values had gone up so quickly. Now, one of the big points that people will point out is, Chandler, what if I buy a home right at 2007 and then you saw the market completely and totally crash? Well, let's talk about that. This says that the median home price was at its all-time high back in August of 2006. Now, first of all, we're in 2022 now and the median home price is more than double what the all-time high was in 2006. Now, I know you're saying, Chandler, that was almost 20 years ago. Yeah, well, let's look how long it took to get back to where it was. So even if you're living in a place, you buy at the tippy top of what the market is doing and it totally crashes, at the end of the day, you don't care. As long as you're on a 30-year fixed loan and you can make your payment every month, you know it's gonna come back. And so I dove into this. I wanted to know how long it took for the median home price to get back to its absolute all-time high. And it didn't happen until March of 2016. So if you bought a home in 2006, 2007, you paid the tippy top, then you were stuck in that home for 10 years before the home value got back to where it was. And that's after a huge drop in home values. Now, a lot of you would say, well, what if I bought the home and then I sold it 5 years later? Well, don't do that, right? You know you're gonna have to rent, and guess what? During that time period, rents continued to go up. Your mortgage would have stayed the same. So just stay in the house until the market goes back up. Worst case scenario, you just live in the home for 10 years. You're still going to win because you're getting principal pay down, you're getting tax benefits, you own your own home and you're not dealing with a landlord, and within 10 years, it's gonna be back to where it was. Those people that held on for that 10 years, if they held on for another 10 years, they absolutely crushed it, like by an absurd amount. They literally doubled their property value. Here's the craziest part of the whole thing though. You've got to remember, this example was someone that purchased the home with a 3.5% down. So let's look at their actual return, keeping in mind that the S&P 500 was getting over 10% on average, and you're still dealing with the up and down risks of investing in the stock market or the S&P 500. You still might have to cash out 5 years in where your money's way, way down. The only difference is with this scenario, you get a home that you love in a neighborhood that you love, where you don't have to deal with a landlord and all of the negatives that people complain about when dealing with a landlord. Now, here is the crazy part. I did the math on what would happen the next 5 years with only 3.8% appreciation. Now, keep in mind, we've had way more than that the last couple of years, and who knows, maybe it could dip, but again, we talked about worst case scenario. If you're holding the home for 10 years, you're always going to buff out. But just at that 3.8, which is the average, if we can just get the average for the next 5 years, here's what the numbers would look like. Let's say you bought that $420,000 home with 3.5% down. So you only need $21,000. You're in the perfect home. That's the median home. That should have multiple bedrooms and you should love it. It should be perfect for your family. Unless, of course, you're living in New York or California. And in that case, I don't know what to tell you. You probably shouldn't live there anyways. I don't see the allure. No offense. But at $420,000, you get into the house and we're gonna do that 3.8% appreciation. That means year one, you're getting $15,960 added to your home value. That goes up to $435,960. Next year, it goes up to $452,000. Next year, $469,000. Next year, $487,000. Because again, that's 3.8% on what the home value is. So it's very exponential on how your property value increases. But keep in mind, you don't have $420,000 tied up. You only have $21,000 tied up. So when we look at this, you're getting $86,000 plus in appreciation. You're getting $42,000 in principal pay down. That gives you a total of $128,519. Over the course of a 5-year period, that is a 600% return. You just 6x'd your money. That's a 120% return every single year. So when you look at the S&P 500 and the fact that it goes up and down, and on average, you're hoping to get above a 10%, or you look at not renting and buying your own home with that $20,000 and getting 120% return while living in a place you actually want to live, while getting the tax benefits, getting the appreciation, the principal pay down, getting all of the benefits of not living with a landlord, not having to pay property taxes like a landlord does. It's like, holy crap, where on earth could you ever get a 120% return on your money and also not have to rent, not have to deal with a landlord? And that's if you hit the average. Now, people will dive into higher than normal interest rates or all of these other risks or potential downsides of home ownership. Maybe they want to dive into the expenses you've got to pay. I'm sorry. It's never going to be better to rent from a landlord. And this is where when Grant Cardone or other people say, oh, it's not a good idea to invest in your own home, I'm telling you, it is the best investment in any market, in any situation. And then when you take into consideration that you can watch this channel and learn how to buy your home at a discount, it just doesn't make sense why you wouldn't purchase your own home and just do it correctly. So for those of you out there, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, I don't care what your circumstances are, I am telling you the best investment you can ever make is investing in your own home on a 30-year fixed loan. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the little bell. And with all of that being said, I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks, guys.